Hi, intrepid, wonderful viewers. I love you guys. The comments have been amazing. And after such a traumatic week, it's so reassuring. I hope you guys are feeling it too, to interact with each other because it's just literally traumatic. And here, we're still recovering from the New Zealand shooting, which was so unexpected. And it was, excuse me, an Australian who did that shooting, lest we forget, left the country to do the shooting. Like the El Paso guy drove 600 miles to do it. You know, and early trigger warning in this video, if you're a Trump supporter and you still support him after El Paso, not the channel for you. So let me just give you a few moments to move on and back into some conspiratorial echo chamber where you'll be far more comfortable. Because this channel has been known to critique the Yeti, as he's referred to here. And there were some very funny comments on the protocols. What happens when Boris and Trump meet? Yeti protocol. It was hilarious seeing some of the suggestions. And they're both Geminis. So there's actually 4 of them, not 2. So here we go. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can in this. So we're going to move on. So the first question was, can this get any crazier with Trump? And you'd have to be worried on that score. So let's see what the Russian cards have to say about Trump. Can he actually get worse? We keep thinking we've hit a new bottom, but it's an illusion. He can always go lower. He could win the prize as the limbo dancing Yeti. Here we go. Is Trump actually going to get worse with the rhetoric? Getting cups, playing the emotional card. Ooh. Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't bring you down. Got to get you used to these new cards too. So, the Ace of Cups. This is emotion. The cups are always about emotion, but they're also about creativity, imagination, and other things. But for him, you know what? He is not worried by this. He is not worried by this. That may not be a revelation in itself, but it's kind of shocking. But he isn't worried. What is happening is the scrolls representing the pieces of paper, newspaper articles, and some sort of paper trails are being collected together in this particular chalice. That, despite what he says now or doesn't say, it's on paper, meaning it's been recorded. We now live in a digital world, so you have to include what's been recorded. The 8 of Cups here, traveling on a train, this is not Trump, because this person's actually thinking. I don't think he has actually the capacity for rational thought. He's just a house-trained sort of, well, what can you say? We're still searching for the words to describe Trump. But anyway, in any event, this isn't Trump. This is someone who knows stuff and is considering writing about it, considering exposing it. This is someone in deep thought. Someone has more dirt to add to the chalice. I wonder who that is. Reporters have been busy, and this card, I think, has particular relevance. It turns up in every reading for me on Trump with the Russian deck. It's got several implications. One is journalists keep writing, which is why there's this stock of things. But there's a military, this is Navy. Now, the Navy, along with other arms of the armed services, I'm fairly confident in saying are not that impressed with Trump, partly because there's a lot of Black and Hispanic members of the armed forces, partly because they don't like being sent to go off to a king's war when they've signed up as US soldiers. Veterans Affairs is not being well run. Homelessness amongst vets is still extremely and unacceptably high. I think this could be military personnel talking here too, probably anonymously, but talking to the media more, and that would not altogether be a bad thing. The question being, can Trump get worse? Yes, the Chariot. He can get worse, and he will get worse. So, as he loses his grip, his reaction is to flail louder, wider, finding new bottoms to go to. He is diving to the bottom of the swamp, draining the swamp, less water, love. He doesn't have to swim very far till he hits the bottom, but we have not seen it yet. So expect more volatile, vicious pronouncements from the leader of what used to be the free world. So, Trump for now, that's short term, meaning now till the end of the year. Yes, he will get worse. Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch as he will forever be known. That's why we need the killer nickname for Trump. We keep trying, we can't find a name that's gross enough, but also really sticks to him. Moscow Mitch was brilliant. I don't know who first came up with that, but full marks to them. They should be given state honours. I noticed in the Washington Post they said about Mitch McConnell, did he actually collapse under the weight of his own hypocrisy? I love that. And I think it was the same journo who said, no, he fell over a bag of NRA money that normally the servants would put in the cupboard that they forgot. Let's look at Mitch and the NRA. Mitch and the NRA. Mitch and the NRA. What's happening with their relationship? Let's see. Mitch is wanting to pull back. Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? Here it is. People are talking to the media. This is the card of leaks as well. Look what you've done, you selfish bastard of a man. Look what you've done is being said in this card. He's just driving off. I'm just doing my job, stopping everything from going forward in the entire Senate. God, he's a nasty bit of work. Oh, the empty chair. The empty chair. Anyone from Kentucky, can you please write to me? Can you explain why people from Kentucky keep voting him in? I understand there's this sort of sweetheart deal with infrastructure that he pulls off every election cycle with his wife, so people think, oh, well, we're getting something. The empty chair, his chair becoming vacant. Love that. Love that. I could go for a clarifier, I suppose, on the empty chair. Why is it going to be an empty chair? Let me get my little cuties out. Because it could be health, it could be anything. Could be blessed be that he gets voted out by Kentucky. What's the clarifier on the empty chair? On the 7th. We're through the 7th month. Could be the 7th of next year. 7. 7 plays a role. What is the clarifier on the empty chair for Mitch? His wife's stuff. He gets the courtship card, also leading to marriage. I think what will be revealed about Elaine Chow, I think that's her name, and her mega corrupt ongoing dealings could mean he resigns. Oh, I wonder. But trust me, I don't care about being right or wrong, actually, with so much of this stuff. Like, some people think Trump will be gone in September or the end of this year. I wish I could agree. I don't think so. I see him limping into next year, but I don't see him at the actual election. So during the course of next year, something's going to become too much. So I'm in the camp that doesn't see him going just yet. I'm sorry about that. But as I was saying, you wouldn't see anyone happier than me if I was wrong and he goes this year. I just don't see it. So let's have a look in terms of Can It Get Crazier? Leningrad Lindsay. That has a certain ring to it. It's not as good as Moscow Mitch, but it's a start. So let's just have a look at the GOP with the NRA. I got sidetracked from the NRA. Look more generally, the GOP and the NRA. Can it get crazier? Can it get crazier? All right. Oh, have I got them all upside down? Yes. So, that's not upside down. I just flipped the pack. The search is on. This is the star card in conventional packs, inspiration and hope. In this deck, no. They're fishing in the chair. Have we left anything behind? Can we get any more jewels or money out of this cash cow? I think this is someone in the NRA and someone in the GOP, not just one person, could be a couple of people in the NRA and a couple of people in the GOP, desperately, can you see that image, viewers? Trying to see if there's anything they've left behind in the chair. In other words, they know the relationship has decayed and they're personally trying to extract what they can. Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. The Empress. You've got to love the Empress in this deck. I haven't had her for formal readings yet. She's much more wench-like, much more voluptuous. The Empress traditionally is about, you know, fertility and plenty and all of that stuff. This is the good time gal. So, oh, who's that hideous woman? Dana Loesch? Is it them? Not that she looks like this. She looks very, you know, well-groomed and well-presented. This has a more than slutty impersonation of the Empress here. But it's a major player either in the NRA or the GOP. I'll come back to that. This is someone... Look, he's trying to explain his position and she's trying to get to him. It's like he's in prison except that he's still wearing a uniform and she's pleading with him. Not the same woman. So, what does this mean? I think, and I think this because of this third card, here we have the reporter again taking notes. Someone is giving information. I think this card is the male party saying, why are you going to do this? and she's saying, but I love you, but I have to go. We're talking about organisations. So here, what has always been a marriage made in heaven, or in fact behind the scenes over alcohol that we never knew about, the relationship between the NRA and the GOP is broken. That's how I read this now. And the real reason why it's broken will be leaked. But it won't stop those with their hands or their noses in the trough. So the GOP will still have interactions with the NRA. They are natural bedfellows. It's not the end, but it's tarnished. The NRA is tarnished in its own right, thanks to its own filthy corruption. The GOP will be revealed to be tarnished in its own right. So the combination is not good. All right. Now, I've been asked by more than a few viewers, was Melania ever in the Epstein stable, so to speak? Was Melania an Epstein girl? Is that how she met Trump or not? Let's have a look. Melania and Epstein. Melania and Epstein. That's Epstein. Queen of Swords, she gets King of Wands. No, she did it on her own terms. No. I'm sure she knew Epstein socially because they did all mix in the same world. I love this card to represent Epstein. Love's the wrong word. This is the decadence of Epstein. He may not have been into drink and drugs. It might have just been the sex, but the way he took that is the decadent aspect. This is the Queen of Swords. This is Melania in the sense that, no, she did it on her own terms. This is a woman who still wields power in the house. Interesting. So she wasn't manipulated into it. She did it on her own terms. I could say I'm not judging her for what she did, but in fact I am judging her, but she's perfectly entitled to do whatever she came to America to do. But one of those things, this is this very weird King of Wands. She was prepared to do the photo shoots, you know, with the fluffy handcuffs and all of that. So what? That's not the problem I have with Melania. She can make money however she wants. And she's never been a sex slave and she's never been coerced in that way. She is rocked by money, and out of all the unattractive, bullying, narcissistic rich men in the world, she chose the Yeti. So I don't have sympathy for her, but how she got there is her own business. She's probably feeling I backed the wrong horse because he's actually a bankrupt, but that's another story. This reinforces that with the chalices, she did it on her own terms. This is someone, I think she's actually now looking for a partner. She's done with being the wife, Mrs. Yeti. She's looking for a younger partner. So no, I don't think she was part of the hideous Epstein stuff. But they all know each other and all mixed in the same circles. People also ask, will Trump be brought down by Epstein? The Epstein case. No, I don't think so. I think there are other famous people who will be, but not him. He was lucky. Trump's lucky, you know. My dad used to say it was better to be born lucky than rich. he had a famous public feud with Epstein 15 years ago or something, so his defenders can always hide behind that because that did actually happen. Probably because Epstein wanted to have it off with Ivanka, but he genuinely had a falling out with Epstein. So, what are some of our other questions? Oh, sorry about my pronunciation. I was calling her Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's procurer. I think the pronunciation is Ghislaine. So people want to know what's happened to her. I'm not actually going to read on her again. I will just give you my opinion. I think she'll be holding out. I'm sure she's got false passports. Do not be surprised if she's having plastic surgery as we speak in Geneva. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. They're not going to get her back, I don't think, to the US. Again, happy to be wrong. She could be extradited, but I don't think so. She's got enough money in her own right and through contacts. You know, she'll be spending half the year in, Buenos Aires and half the time in Cyprus or Tel Aviv. Who knows? I don't think we'll see her again. I could be really wrong on that. So I don't think she's going to be punished legally, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, another question. Oh, yes. Boris Johnson, the other Yeti, not going to last. The other question I did want to ask today is, is there going to be a Republican contender against Trump? I don't know. Let's have a look. Will there be a Republican rival, or are they just going to go with the emperor? Will a GOP rival candidate emerge? I'm not sure these are the best cards for that question. We'll see. Ten of Pentacles, someone wants money. Oh, that did turn up. Reversed. That's interesting. All right, so Ten of Pentacles, family money. This could be someone who comes with his own money apart from what he can raise. I'm saying he because unless they go with Nikki Haley, it's most likely to be a man. This is that card I was describing earlier. This, in this context of this question with this deck, could be talking to the armed services, trying to get support. I think that's the strongest indicator that someone is saying how he spoke about John McCain is unacceptable. We do not need a president who doesn't understand the international geopolitical landscape. It would be better to have a candidate who did. It's that argument all expressed in that card. There is someone talking with the wife and family. Should I run? If I run against him, he's going to demolish me and he's going to do his best to destroy the family. Is it worth doing? The candidate has some support but is playing a chess game behind the scenes with the Republicans. In other words, I don't think it's been decided yet. I think a few people would say, or would be brave enough to say, I'll run up against him. But the party has not decided. It's still a chess game. Do they go with the emperor and try and secure the base? Or do they try and get rid of him and have a sporting chance at the election for being seen as responsible? Oh, that's the other question I have to ask. So in answer to that question, will there be a candidate for Trump? Not yet. They'd like one, but they don't think they've got one. The other question, and then I have to go, it's 24 minutes already, is as Trump gets madder and badder and more rogue, and he only will they go the 25th Amendment to try and get rid of him? A palace coup, in other words, by Pence. Will there be a palace coup by Pence? I've read on this before. It's behind the scenes, but are they thinking about it now? This is about now. Will Pence make a play for 25th? I'm getting a few reversals with this. Oh, not pretty. Okay, the Six of Wands. Trying to get away, reversed, not managing to get away. Now, meaning, is that Trump trying to get out somehow? Because this might sound surprising to people, but he actually hates the job. If he could find a way out where he wasn't arrested, he'd take it. So is this Trump or is this Pence? It's the trying to get away but not being able to, being reversed. Holding on to money, holding on to information, holding on to your tongue. I think this is Pence just holding on for now. He'd actually like to do it himself. He so despises Trump. He knows, if nothing else, Pence knows, this guy is not only not a Christian, not an evangelical Christian, not any Christian. He knows that. And because he is stuck in that sort of 50s religiosity, he finds that hugely offensive. I think Pence would like to skewer him by hand. It's another side of Pence we don't often see. These could be read as assassination cards because you've got the weapon plus the mercenary. But I'm not seeing it as a literal assassination. We're talking a political assassination. Pence is doing the numbers. The chess game I was just talking about. In other words, what my vibe is on this is not a clear audio flash, it's more just a vibe. Pence has upped the ante with the other Republicans. He wants to do it. Before he was saying, look, I'm there. If you come to that decision, you know, I will step up and take care of the nation, you know. If you have to do the 25th Amendment, I'll be there. Now he's actively pushing. What's in the cards for Pence? I just want to clarify how you find one mercenary when they're all mercenaries is another story. Oh, okay, this is a clear audio flash. They need more donors to say, get rid of him. At the moment, the donors are saying we're not happy. 1 or 2 have said we're not supporting you. That's what's going to move the GOP. That's my revelation for you. It's the donors. But will they support Pence? Will the donors support Pence? Dedication, court of law. Message being sent, and the main mail. I think the legal stuff, on the one hand, they escaped the worst of the Mueller report, if nothing else because there's a time delay with the legal stuff. By the time it all plays out, the unindicted co-conspirator, but the donors are worried about that. They've sent a message. This could not be a literal message in the post, but they've sent the message. You have to either rein him in or get rid of him. And they know they can't rein him in, and they don't want to get rid of him. So this is not good news for the GOP. Their decision has to be who's the new main man. This does not look like the Yeti to me. I think we might find out all about this with good investigative journalism, or we might never know. They are seriously working behind the scenes because they know he's a nutcase, but what they're really worried about, of course, is the economy. He is not good for the economy. He's been able to bluff the economy, but they know he's not good. Well, there you go. Quite a bit in all that. So please, the thumbs up. Keep the comments rolling. I'm loving doing the readings. We'll talk again really soon. I'm going to try and upload this now. Please be in touch. Cheers.